Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Happy New Year, and thank you so much for taking the ride with us on Against All Odds in 2022. We do all we do because we know you're waiting. We don't take this for granted. Thank you. We hope we kept you engaged, informed, entertained, educated, and intrigued. We appreciate you for letting us impact in you in whatever way we did. We love you and appreciate your time with us. 2022 for us was indeed memorable and impactful. It was another year we had an opportunity to dig deep and acquire more knowledge through coming in contact with great minds whose stories inspired us greatly and opened our wings to a brighter side of light amidst darkness. On Against All Odds, we started the year waxing in the euphoria over world-class awards and appreciations we didn't take for granted, and will always remain grateful to God Almighty. In the course of this episode, we will journey with you with few of our episodes to refreshing your minds to what we brought to you in 2022. Sonia, a young, intelligent girl who draws her strength from the confidence she has in God, knowing that her disability is one which can switch off the button anytime without notice, ignores all negative thoughts, and remains very positive, and enjoys the brighter parts of life.
In a boarding school, and I noticed that when I want to get up from squatting position, it became slightly difficult for me. I didn't used to spring up the way I used to. So I was still very young, so I didn't know that it was a disability or something. I didn't know anything was wrong. I just knew that I'm not able to get up from a squatting position like I used to. So I would just lean like this and then pull myself up. Gradually, it progressed to when I sit down, maybe in the church, and it's time for offering. Everybody is getting up, and it's time for me to get up. I'm struggling to get up. Because of that, I used to be so ashamed to, you know, when it gets to our role to stand up for offering. My schoolmates, they're calling me hot stepper. So I didn't know that it affected as my walking step had changed.
Muscular dystrophy, a terminal disability, the doctor speaks more.
The gene for muscular dystrophy, it's there at birth. But somewhere around the age of 2 to 3 years, the child begin to manifest with weakness of the muscle. Because the problem is with the muscle. The gene that synthesizes a particular protein that ensures muscle function, that gene is defective. Therefore, that protein is not produced. When that protein is not produced, the muscle begins to fail with time. It begins to weaken out, and with time, the patient begin to manifest with progressive weakness of the muscles. Our muscles are what help us to move. Muscles help us to breathe. The heart muscles help the heart to pump. So when there's a disease that threatens the integrity of the muscles, it begins to manifest in weakness, and that's why many of them will end up in the wheelchair, because they can't walk, they can't help themselves, so they end up in the wheelchair. Others may need to use crutches, but the strongest killer for patients with muscular dystrophy is when there's a manifestation of heart problem. because, like I said, the heart muscle helps to pump the heart. If the heart muscles becomes weak, then there's a problem.
The ability of a man is not measured whether he has legs or he doesn't have, whether he is hearing or not. The ability of a man is measured by the things that he believes in, how he can achieve them, and how he uses it for the progress of his family and the society at large. Taye, as a power lifter champion who has won a lot of medals to his name, has traveled far and near. He has conquered his fears, built a family, and is doing what men with legs can't do.
My first outing, one bronze medal represent Abuja. So far so good. Life is not very easy, but I didn't look down on myself. I took my faith that I'm going to make it. It's determination. I didn't look myself as a disabled person because I've take that challenge. I've keep it aside. I don't like begging. Even I don't like disabled person begging. We used to encourage them, come and join sport. Nobody is useless. Nobody, even you don't have the tutu hand. You see a challenge like that, you don't have tutu leg, you can still find something to do to help yourself like that. So even when I was small, when I'm going on the road, people will dash me money. Take 15 naira, take 20 naira, don't take it. My parents will say, take it now, it's gift. They like you. I'll say, no, I'm not a beggar, I don't want it. So from small, I don't like somebody to be, I used to tell them, if they want to help me, they will help me. It's not giving me 10 naira, that will not help my life. I don't want it. So nobody is useless.
This is against all odds.
Dreams are formed in our imaginations. Some of these dreams are born when the opportunity presents itself. Some dreams are aborted, and some dreams die. Have you ever wondered why some dreams should be bettered during the darkest part of your life? Yes, maybe because the darkest part of the night is dawn and it breaks into the morning. John was told by the doctors that he has 3 years to see, after which he will become blind. He became blind eventually, and all John couldn't achieve as a seeing man, he became it as a blind man. Though he lost some, he gained much more. This is the story of John La, the phone inventor.
At any time, we wanted to go and do the right things, fulfill the right things. As regards marriage, something else will happen, will just come up. Even when the lady that was in a relationship with me have a child for me, my first child. That's Chelsea. When I got into the whole problem, she was at first instance, first moment she was with me. We lived together, and we were going to the hospitals. But when it got to her when it became very clear to her that this young man will no longer see in the space of 3 years. Not too many ladies have the capacity to absorb such things. At the time, I didn't even blame her. She doesn't have the capacity to manage situations of this nature. And then she blew up. That's why she absconded. She left me. When I needed her most, she left. The marriage that we were always planning to go and do, everything is gone. I said, okay, maybe. Bible says all things work together for good. So I was so confused. In fact, that was at the time that was what even increased the whole problem or burden on me. How can a woman that claims she loves me so much will leave me just because of this situation?
You can never understand what you have never experienced. You can only imagine it. Having a disability is hard enough. Imagine you having a twin disability, 2 sense organ, blind and deaf. Solomon has navigated this path. He keeps emphasizing on the power of the mind.
I want everybody to just try to understand what it is like to be without vision and hearing. Personally, it was so difficult. I will admit to everybody there was a time I considered suicide. But using my power of reflection, thinking about it, I really wondered what could it profit me. The whole world would just look at me, another failure. No, no, no. That was not what I wanted. Letting people know that disability is really nothing. The only real disability is in your mind. Whatever your situation, economic or social, physical or whatever, it is what you decide in your mind that determines you, not your situation.
Self-denial is the first step to a fall. Self-pity and self-discrimination are the pills that causes disability to eat you faster than cancer. Until Hava snapped out of her shades and faced disability with boldness. She was drowning deep in the ocean with sharks. She fought and won. Today, Ava, a loud, proud disability advocate, flaunting and speaking about it to everyone who cares to listen. A combination of beauty, brains, and a jack of all trade.
It all started on February 9, 2003, that fateful Sunday. I was coming back from church. Not too far from the house, there's an expressway that divides the street. The other side, I was on the other side, so had an accident. A car actually knocked me down, and I woke up in the hospital actually with a broken leg. So the accident seems very minor because I had a broken leg. There was no even outer wound there, just a broken leg inside. So I was in the hospital. The doctors did the necessary what they were supposed to do. Okay, so like barely 2 weeks into the accident, we discovered that an infection have entered my leg. The doctor called it the gangrene or something like that. So we entered the leg, and the leg was getting so bad that the veins that transport blood from where to the toes or whatever, I don't know, they got dead, and the leg from the other side was useless. And the only option to salvage the leg and also keep me alive was amputation.
This is against all odds.
Depression, a leading cause of death amongst young and old. It became a thing of worry to us. Depression was eating deep. Mental disability was taking the toll on a lot of people. We found Aino and had a section with her. For some reason, I was glad Aino shared her story. The outcome of Aino's story brought smiles to our faces. It impacted a lot of lives, both parents and their children. Thank you, Aino. Your story saved many. When they are bold enough to share, we will bring it on.
Like my case, I entered University of Abuja at 18, and I was reading law. But somewhere along the line, I think my priorities changed. I picked up smoking, marijuana, drinking alcohol, and cigarettes. I also wanted to be a fashion model. And I was always chubby, but I lost weight. So I think that whole skinny feeling got into my head. I wanted to always project myself. So I went into a competition, Face of Sleek, and I also moved with a fast crowd, rich kids, Only in my case, I couldn't juggle all those things together. So I went for Face of Sleek in 2009, and I qualified to top 15 semi-finals, but the grand finals, but I didn't get to top 3. So seeing that I was already smoking at that point in my 3rd year, I came back to school, and the school had this internet magazine called Laugh Out Loud, where they posted news of it kids, happening kids, And so my name was there. Like our very own Aino went for Face of Sleek. You know, they stated my progress, how far I performed, my performance, you know. And I think shame actually is a contribution to depression, you know. I felt shame. I felt like, you know, I tried to prove myself and I couldn't prove myself. So I used to say off campus, not in the hostel. So I would not attend lectures. I would stay in my apartment off campus and smoke cigarettes all day long. I'll take codeine, I'll take marijuana, you know. I started keeping to myself and I was still thinking, how can I prove myself? Still thinking that there are other ways that I can prove myself, but I mean, there were no doors opening.
Women are vulnerable, and the woman with disability is most vulnerable. That is what the world thinks, but in the contrary, world records has it that when a woman sets her mind to run a race, she runs it headlong. And of course, some women with disability are keeping on the pace close match and proving their worth in the world where women are segregated. We celebrate the world Paralympian gold medalist in javelin throw, Flora. She has broken the world records severally and believes with a little push from sponsors, she can conquer the world. Flora is resilient and dedicated. Like her name, she flourishes wherever she's planted.
In Nigeria now, person with disability, we are being marginalized in that aspect. So many companies, they don't see that ability in us. Because, like you ask now, what does it take to get endorsement? It is companies in Nigeria that support. We have so many companies in Nigeria. All this achievement, all these things that I'm mentioning now, we have companies like we have a MTN, we have a Glow, we have all those. There is Airtel and the rest of them. We have those ones. They are companies that can endorse, like other companies, Mamador, Peak, and then many other companies in Nigeria that can endorse person. Okay, NNPC can come out and say, for what this person is doing, we can endorse this person. Me, I believe that we have already paid our dues in line of this sport. So many of us, myself, I've paid my dues. I've made myself stand. I've stood out in everything that concerns my sporting career. So, if they are saying it's performance that they are looking for, there is performance. You understand? So, there is something they don't understand, that if they endorse persons with disability, wherever you are going for competition, you are advertising for them. And based on saying you are winning that medal, you are a medal prospect, that advert goes a lot more than anybody that will go for competition. You endorse somebody that goes to competition and that person did not deliver. So I believe if they can look beyond this disability and see the ability in us.
It is no longer news that persons with disabilities are resilient. What makes the story different is how far they are able to spring out and spring forth. Art speaks larger than life. It is a mirror. It is an expression of life. It depicts all forms of emotions. Ella uses paintings to tell her stories in different ways. Creative Ella is hard on hearing. She's a dual personality who uses hearing aid to hear. And without her aid, you speak and she stares at you. Quite frustrating, right? In the midst of it, Ella is focused, hardworking, committed to what she does, and has no limit to achieving success.
There was a day, one of my lecturers was in the class, we had a test, and he said, what is intellect? That's what he asked. What did I hear? What is internet? Now, what was I writing down? Definition of internet, why internet is important, what we do with internet. I filled up that paper answering the wrong questions. The next thing After the test, I think a day or two, the lecturer called me from outside. He said, Ella, you're very stupid. How could you do that? How can you be asking a wrong question? How can you come to this level you are? And you don't know how to spell intellect. You don't even know how to write. You were writing something different. You were fuming. You were angry. You could see the redness in her eyes. I was like, come on. I said, Madam, I'm sorry. From that very test till now, I did not know until you mentioned it. If you write it on the board, I will understand. I know this is what you are writing. But when you say it out, I might not get the right word. That is how I have been living every day of my life. I had to go meet her the next day. I was crying because it was so heavy for me. I did everything I could to be able to answer her. I'm sorry, I'm actually getting emotional because it was so painful. I got a less, mark on that court because of what happened. I went to meet her. I said, Auntie, I am too sorry. She said, do I go to you in my office? Get out. I said, Madam, please calm down. You know I'm not a bad person. I think that was what got her, and then she was able to listen to me. I said, do you know that I did not hear you well when you were talking? She said, why didn't you ask? I said, because that is what you said. If I turn and I'm writing, having text, I cannot talk my fellow courtmate and say, what did he say? That is actually teaching for what, education is about. I mean, when you're doing your exam or you're doing your classwork, doing having text, you don't communicate with your fellow students. You say where you are. How would I have done that? I tried my best at that time, to explain things to her. I think you were able to understand, but it was too late because the next few days was my exam. So that was what happened. Okay, that is true. What if when you have the great opportunity standing before you and you hear the wrong thing? Are you going to start explaining? You have failed.
Lack of communication causes a lot of untold problems. We visited Gwagwalada Teaching Hospital, where a group of deaf women sensitized staff of the hospital, especially the maternity ward, on the importance of bridging the communication gap by getting interpreters.
Out of many pregnant women, we have also deaf pregnant women here, and also their needs are not met. You will agree with me from what the nurses just shared. A deaf woman lost her pregnancy. This is just one among many, which shows that deaf women don't have self-delivery due to communication barrier. Nurses don't understand our needs during ANC. We need to tell the doctor what our pregnancy needs are, and pregnant women deaf women need to be careful, and also quality delivery service. But because of lack of sign language interpreters,
we also cover the beautiful events put together by the deaf community in Nigeria for the purpose of showcasing the beauty pageants. Have you ever wondered that a deaf girl can become a beauty queen?
No idea I would be the winner, honestly. I'm excited. Thank you so much for the support. I thank God and God bless every one of you. I promise I will work hard by the grace of God. I will do my best. Thank you so much. Thank you all of you. I love you all.
Last year's celebration of International Day of the Girl Child was done in a colorful way. Against all odds, joined the world to celebrate International Day of the Girl Child at the School for the Deaf, Kuje, Abuja. It was a day that was set aside to remind our conscience on the importance of the girl child, especially the child with disabilities, and the need to give her an opportunity to strive in the society. Remember, we are all equal. Right to education is key to everyone. The School for the Blind, graduated 14 skilled blind students and handed them over to the society with boldness. The event was honorable and colorful. Against All Odds was on ground to capture history.
This is Against All Odds.
Life indeed is a battlefield. We all swim in a river filled with sharks. We are all expected to survive in it. 2022 was absolutely eventful. Because of space, we couldn't refresh your minds with all our episodes, but we scratched the surface. It's 2023, and we are set to begin with you on the new and clean slate. We love you always. Against All Odds, MMNA award-winning program, television production of the year.
Audio Jungle.